No retreats. It's the perfect time to be transformed. I'm Mike Morrison with 2 minutes of insight and inspiration. Welcome to 2 Minute Transformation. Now that we have our undergarments intact and our belts pulled tight, it's time to protect our most vulnerable target. Paul says in Ephesians 6:14, we are to put on the belt of truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness. Now, you've heard me say on this webcast that righteousness is when we do the kinds of things that bring God glory, and that's true. But before we can do those things, we must possess that righteousness first. Friends, I can take my debit card, buy groceries, gas, pay the electric bill, but if I don't have money in the bank to cover it, I'm not going to eat, run my car, or have power when I get home. You can't pour water from an empty pitcher. The righteousness that Paul is referring to here is not our acts, but rather he's pointing to the acts of Jesus, specifically the cross. Paul says in Philippians 3 verse 9 from the Message, I didn't want some petty inferior brand of righteousness that comes from keeping a list of rules when I could get the robust kind that comes from trusting Christ, God's righteousness. And in 1 Corinthians 1:30, again from the Message, everything that we have, right thinking and right living, a clean slate and a fresh start, comes from God by way of Jesus Christ. When we turn to Christ and put our faith in His work on the cross for us, reconciling us to God and depositing in our dead souls His life, how can we live to ourselves any longer? We live Godward and His life becomes our covering. And look what His righteousness covers. The breastplate protects all the vital organs, but especially your heart and lungs. His life is fortifying our souls and protecting everything on which our spiritual lives depend. If we truly possess His righteousness and live out from it, we can stand firmly knowing we are secure in Christ. Notice it's a breastplate and not a backplate. Hey, there's no retreat from our problems. We can't check out with a clear conscience if we have right thinking and right living. You're fortified to do battle, not to bail out. So face forward and be transformed.